Hey everyone, it's Aladdin's Castle. Welcome back. It is that time of the series where I take all the movie franchises that am really interested in the set and build a deck around it. So the first movie that I'll be focusing on is Princess and the Frog. That obviously it revolves around all of the Tiana cards. For those who need a little bit of background story on the movie, Tiana is basically a ambitious waitress who had dreams of opening up a restaurant in New Orleans. And she meets a prince who was turned into a frog by the villain, Dr. Facilier. He pretty much meets Tiana and turns her into a frog, and they kind of went on this like journey trying to turn the spell around, and they meet a bunch of characters along the way, and then Disney stuff. So this deck revolves around her and some of the characters that you'll see that are pretty iconic in the movie, and it is a Emerald Steel deck. So it's not your traditional like discard deck, but we are going to go ahead and go through all the characters that are featured in that movie and have a good time. So we will start off with the one drop characters. We have Tiana herself, Steel. She is a 1/3. A lot of those cards that you see in the meta are 1/3, so it's really tough to kind of get rid of. And she could quest early. She may survive, a turn or two depending on what they are playing. Next, we have four Flynn Riders. He is another 1/3 character. Very solid. Again, just early on, 1/3. You want to be able to survive some of those attackers that are, 2, 1 even as well. 2 costs. I run 3 Prince Eric. He trades into a lot of cards early on that are really powerful, like what you just saw. A lot of the 1/3s that are in the meta. Challenger +2, and it could survive a lot of like early game, like Teeth and Ambitions, like stuff like that, just that does multiple damage. So he is a solid 2-cost card. Another 2-cost card that I like in this build is Jafar. Jafar is there because he could trade into the Minnie Mouse, like a Surfer Mini that has evasive. So during your turn, he could just challenge them. He also shifts onto the bigger Jafar, which can get you some card draw, which you'll see in a little bit. But he is there for multiple reasons. Now, our next character that is also featured in the movie is Lawrence. If you guys remember him, he is pretty much the lackey, the kind of background guy, villain guy that's next to Dr. Facilier, jealous manservant who is basically a manservant, and he's up to no good. But Lawrence is actually pretty powerful. He becomes a 4/4 when he has no damage, so pretty strong. He could challenge it early into a lot of characters, and he quests for 2. But he's kind of like a Cheshire Cat in a way where he's most likely going to get damage, and he's just questing. He doesn't really do damage back, but questing for 2 is very powerful. Your opponent has to figure out if they want to get rid of him or not. Next, I run 3 Benja. Benja is there for all the item decks that are running around, Popsicle, Lanterns, just a lot of solid things, flutes. So it's a good answer for every deck in the meta, basically, that plays those cards. So solid stats, you run him. Then I run 2 Prince Naveen. Of course, Tiana's dream man that she met in this movie. He doesn't really do much. I mean, he's a 4/3. It's okay stats, only quest for 1. So he's just there basically just for the charm. That's what he's there.
Hey, can you make me a
Next,
print?
I run some songs. Go ahead with 3 Let the Storm Rage On. It's great early removal. It's good that it could target like certain cards that are annoying, like Pinocchios or stuff that have like the 1 defense that's really hard to get rid of, Enchantress, and a lot of small cards too, where they're just kind of keeping it, non-exerted. Draws a card, so it kind of helps replaces things that you play. Next, 4 cost, we run another Tiana. Too bad she's not shiftable. Might make her a little bit more, overpowered, but she does have resist +2, so it's really hard to deal with her actually. So they really have to trade in a lot. While this character is exerted also, she has another ability, and you have no cards in your hand, your opponent can't play actions. So it's great against like Steel Song. It's good against Be Prepared. Decks that really rely on those action cards. Some even like discard. Well, you discard my hand. You can't even play that anymore. So she's good because of the resist. The only thing, she only has one strength. But maybe if she had more, she might be a little bit too strong. But they need to make a shiftable Tiana anyways, which is what they're missing. Next, I run 4 Donald Ducks. Perfect gentleman. You need to keep up the hand size in this deck. It doesn't draw too much until later in the game. So being able to have potentially multiple cards in your hand combined with like Beast, which we'll see later on, you can just have a big hand size to keep up with certain decks. But it's mostly there to kind of keep your opponent in like an awkward situation where he's questing for 2. They might want to get rid of him, but they also might need some card draw. So it kind of helps in multiple ways where it's like you're forcing your opponent to make some awkward decisions to get rid of Donald Duck or to keep drawing cards, but then he'll be questing for 2. So it's a good card. I like him a lot. Next, I run 3 Jafars. He is a shiftable target from earlier. And also during your turn, whenever this character banishes another character in challenge, you can draw a card. So it replaces itself after it's gone, and the solid 3-4 stats is decent enough. Next, the other 4-drop is Eli LaBeouf. Remember, he's in the movie as well. He says, "I don't suppose y'all could whip up some more magical beignets with them in casters." So that's a nice customized quote there. But he's just a decent stat too. It's hard to get rid of him with that 5 defense and questing for 2, but he's there for the movie, right? Really hard to play him when there's other good cards in the deck. Then 5 cost. This Tiana True Princess. She's a vanilla. She quests for 3, but she does pack a punch if your opponent decides to challenge it because she has 5 attack. So it's really powerful when they're trying to challenge her. It makes your opponent kind of think twice about running into her as well. But the 3 lore is really what she's there for, to put that pressure on. Another great 5 cost card, which is in every deck, basically. Every Steel deck is Beast. Tragic Hero, or Sad Boy Emo Beast. He draws you extra cards too as well. He can become a 7 strength character too, so it's a very flexible, versatile card. That's why he's so expensive. He's just so good. Sing you Swords. He could sing you all the other songs as well. Next, I run 2 Ray. R.I.P. Ray, man. They kind of did him dirty. Insert death scene here, maybe.
Evangeline like that too.
But Ray's just good. He's solid. He has evasive. He's a 3/3. So against other Steel decks, it's kind of tricky, but they're gonna have to really out this guy with some removal, because being able to quest for 3 with evasive is a very powerful effect if your opponent cannot get rid of it. Some songs that are pretty common also in Steel decks is 3 Grab Your Swords. I don't really run 4 because it's hard for me to maximize on the shift targets. Not like you're playing Tinkerbell or Cinderella, so you could shift some targets early. So you really have to wait till like turn 5, turn 6 in order to really cast this. So 3 of this and 3 of Let the Storm Rage On, I think, is a good ratio in this deck. Another good card is A Whole New World. If you're caught with a hand size with no draw, and your opponent's playing like maybe like a discard deck, or just you're unable to hit your draw cards, Whole New World will help you reset and can draw into like all your answers, more damage stuff, more songs. It's you gotta have it. You gotta have it. Next, I run 4 Tinkerbells. I think she's good for that damage. I mean, combining this with Grab Your Sword, just being able to wipe your board, she's just really powerful. No shiftable target, unfortunately, just because of the ratios for other for your other cards, but she's there as a backup for your late game. Another late game card, Dr. Facilier. He is the villain of the movie. He is the big bad guy. He's got evasive. He's a 4/4, quests for 3. And then his ability, You're in My World. Whenever this character quests, chosen opposing character can't quest during their next turn. So it's like a mini Jasper in a way. But he's there as a nice kind of stall card later in the game. So you have a bunch of 3 lower characters. You got some ways to resist. and you have your typical damage cards in there. So we actually played a local today. I went 2-1.
Can you make me a print?
I lost to Amber Steel Songs. He was able to shift into Big Cinderella like on turn 4, I think, and I wasn't able to get rid of it just because of the resist. And in this deck, it doesn't really have a lot of removal, so that was tough. But the other matches, it just depends on the matchup. It's a fun deck. I hope you guys explore this movie series, because you could take a lot of these franchises and kind of just have a good fun time. I mean, if you're tired of the meta, if you're tired of seeing Ruby Amethyst running around, or just the same old decks, try some movie themed decks out at your locals, because it's not a super competitive game at the moment. I think it's really important to have fun, and I think you'll enjoy a lot more. Some other cards also that you could consider, especially with Sad Boy Beast being like a $40 card, you could run the Cinderella package, which is a lot cheaper. Even though Cinderella is like $7-8, it's a lot cheaper than buying 4 beasts that are like $200 or something like that, or even a little bit less. But this package is also really great. Again, you could shift her turn 5, I should say. She has resist 2. And then some of the other like more expensive cards, which is, outside of Beast, is actually pretty affordable. Is Smash. Smash is another great card too. I really considered main boarding it, just to get rid of some of those three defense characters. But it's also a good option too as well. But yeah, that is the Princess on the Frog deck. I hope you guys enjoy it. Stay tuned for more movie themed decks in the future. I'll be trying to upload one every week until set 3 comes out. I'm not sure what else, but we'll see what happens in the next one. Thank you guys again. Rate, comment, subscribe. See you guys in the next video. Peace out.